It's almost 3 in the morning over Rostov-on-Don, the absolute nerve center for Russia's southern military command. And the sky is just torn apart by this frantic web of anti-aircraft fire. You can imagine the scene on the ground. Sirens are wailing a desperate warning of what's coming, a massive, overwhelming wave of Ukrainian drones.
In the middle of all that chaos, a Russian Mi-8 helicopter is scrambled, sent up to hunt down this swarm. But in the fog of war, a Russian Panzer missile crew on the ground makes a fatal mistake. They lock on to a friendly helicopter. One missile fires, and just like that, a multi-million-dollar aircraft and its entire crew are gone, wiped out by their own side.
And while that chaos is unfolding deep inside Russia, this number tells you what's happening at the front. In just the last 24 hours, Russia has dropped 255 guided bombs on Ukraine. It's a brutal, staggering new phase of this war, a firestorm of almost historic proportions. But you see, that friendly fire incident is really just a symptom of a much, much bigger problem for Russia. And you're going to want to stay till the end, because some shocking things I am going to reveal in this explainer. The real reason they're unleashing this firestorm right now, well, it connects directly to a completely different war happening thousands of miles away. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so first, let's break down that incident over Rostov, because this wasn't just some random tragic accident. No, it was the direct result of a really clever Ukrainian tactic, one that's designed to turn Russia's own defenses against themselves. The tactic is called defense saturation, and the idea is actually pretty simple, but it is devastatingly effective. So Ukraine launches dozens of drones all at once. Now, some of them are the real deal, packed with explosives, but many are just decoys. They're built to mimic the radar signature of something much bigger, like a cruise missile or even a jet. So if you're a Russian air defense operator on the ground, you have seconds, literally seconds, to figure out what's real, what's a decoy, and what's your own helicopter flying in the middle of it all. It's an impossible situation. And get this isn't some isolated incident. It is the third confirmed friendly fire shootdown of a Russian aircraft this year. It's just a stark reminder of how Ukraine's drone strategy is creating absolute chaos deep inside Russia, and it's forcing these critical and very, very costly errors. So now, let's shift from the chaos in the rear to the front lines, because that's where the pressure is building in a totally different and frankly terrifying way. We have to talk about that number again, 255 guided bombs. This is a new, brutal war of attrition, and it's being fought from the sky. This right here is from the Ukrainian General Staff's morning briefing, and these numbers are just numbing. Almost 1,000 Russian personnel lost in one day. 32 artillery systems gone. And there it is again, 74 separate airstrikes that delivered those 255 guided bombs, what are known as KABs. So what exactly are these KABs? Well, you shouldn't picture sophisticated smart bombs. Not at all. What Russia is doing is digging into its massive, almost endless, stockpile of old Soviet-era dumb bombs. And they're just strapping on these simple pop-out wing kits. They're cheap, they've got tons of them, and their goal isn't precision. Their goal is to just erase entire areas off the map. And here's how they're using them, especially in key areas like Pokrovsk. It's a horrifically simple three-step tactic. First, Russia sends in what are called meat waves, often poorly trained infantry, to deliberately draw fire. Step 2, Ukrainian forces have to engage them, and in doing so, they reveal their fortified positions. And then comes Step 3. Russian jets, flying from a safe distance, just unleash dozens and dozens of these KABs to grind those positions and the soldiers inside them into dust. Which, of course, brings us to the really big question. Why? Why this massive all-out push right now? Why is Russia burning through so much material and so many lives? Well, to get the answer, we have to zoom out, way out, and see how a completely different war is actually funding this one. Right now, as the world's attention is glued to the conflict in the Middle East, Operation Epic Fury, Russia sees a golden opportunity. With the Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping lane, now a war zone, global oil prices have shot up. And as The Guardian puts it, this is an economic windfall for Putin. It's giving him a massive, unexpected injection of cash to pour right back into his war machine. Now, this has led to a really fascinating geopolitical shift. President Zelensky has made a bold offer to the Gulf states, the ones threatened by those very same Iranian drones. And the deal is simple. Ukraine offers its world-leading, battle-tested expertise in shooting down Iranian drones. In exchange, the Gulf states provide the advanced air defense systems Ukraine so desperately needs. It's a stunning turnaround. Ukraine isn't just asking for aid anymore, it's exporting security.
But while all of these high-stakes geopolitical chess moves are being made, we have to bring it back down to the human price being paid on the ground. Because those 255 bombs, they're not just falling on military targets. In just the last day, 10 civilians were killed. In the Sumy region, a 13-year-old kid was severely wounded. And in Kherson, Russian drones specifically went after 5 different apartment buildings. This isn't collateral damage. This is a deliberate strategy of terror.
And the cold, strategic reason behind this cruelty is to terrorize the Ukrainian people, to break their spirit, and to try and force their government to accept a peace deal on Russia's terms. It's really a desperate race against the clock for Moscow, trying to get a win before its own sluggish economy, which is stuck in what experts call a 0.6% growth trap, just completely implodes on itself. So all of this leads us to the final and most crucial question of this whole conflict. It's a strategic tightrope. Can Russia's overwhelming brute force outlast Ukraine's absolutely remarkable ability to adapt and innovate?
Let's look at how long Russia can keep this up. Their stockpile of old Soviet bombs, it's basically endless. But, and this is the key, their supply of those UMPK glide kits, the things that make the bombs smart, is limited. It depends on smuggled Western microchips that are getting harder and harder to get. So analysts estimate they can only keep up this insane pace for another 12 to 18 months. There's a ticking clock on this strategy.
And that's where Ukrainian adaptation comes in. In late 2025, Ukraine successfully tested its own version of a glide bomb. This is absolutely critical. It means the air war is no longer a one-sided fight. Ukraine is now developing the tools to hit back in the same way. And so that leaves us with this central, defining question. On one side, you have Russia's brute force, this massive but time-limited advantage symbolized by those 255 bombs a day. And on the other, you have Ukraine's rapid, clever adaptation, symbolized by that single successful drone attack that caused a friendly fire incident deep in Russian territory. The fate of this war might just hang on that very question. So what do you think? Can Ukraine's innovation actually outpace Russia's brute force? We'd really like to know your thoughts, so drop them in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest updates, and make sure to watch the video coming up on your screen.